Well, there's a lot riding on this. There's a lot riding on this.
I mean, maybe.
No, there's so much. This is the first MCU movie since in like 2 years. It's been like 2 years. Isn't that crazy? I mean, we've had a couple of Disney Plus series, some of which you've watched, some of which you haven't.
Right.
I'm just gonna, that won't be the only time that's brought up today.
Sure.
But this is the glorious return to the MCU. It is the first movie in the MCU that is not a part of the Infinity Saga.
Oh, right.
Right? This is the first post, because even though Far From Home took place after Endgame, they kind of treated it like an epilogue. Like if you buy the $800 Blu-ray MCU Infinity Saga collection, you get Far From Home as part of that collection.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Right. I think.
Yeah.
Like I know.
So it's a big deal.
And I know you've said this before intellectually, so it's not like I'm actually surprised by what you're saying. But I do really think the TV series have really bridged the gap in my mind, so that when you say, yes, this is the first MCU film in not only 2 years, but since Spider-Man Far From Home and like the end of that phase, I am kind of going, I'm having a Keanu Reeves like, whoa moment that I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like I'm not really thinking about it, but you're right. And
I mean, even then, like the Disney Plus series, it was still a year and a half between. It was still a long, it was the pandemic. I mean, this movie was supposed to come out forever ago. Like over a year ago.
Sure. Yep.
So we are, it's been, anyways, hello and welcome to the Movie Men.
Well, yeah, I'm Peter and you are, what's your name again?
Scarlett Johansson. And we are fortunate enough to be doing a new release. I was saying this to you the other day. I sent you like a list. I sent it to Marshall as well, actually. I sent this list and I was like, man, look at the upcoming new releases.
Yeah.
Just
like in general,
whether
not just MCU, like just in general.
Not just MCU, but like upcoming releases that we would deem worthy of doing an episode for. So, your Jurassic Worlds and your 007s and your Matrix movies and your whatever it is, right? And a bunch of MCU and a bunch of DC films and all this stuff. And it's just like, wow. You know what? Yeah, it's been a really crummy year and a half. But there's this like lush backlog of films now. So, I mean, we've been deprived, but they've just been building up, right? And the floodgates are opening. And one could say there's almost never been a better time to be a movie fan.
It's interesting because I agree with you, and I've agreed with everything you've just said just now. And it's just such a wide span of the interest level in the films that's coming out too. Because I agree with you. There's some that just on an intellectual, on an emotional level, like we would be paying for and buying a ticket even if we weren't doing a movie podcast. And then there's other ones that just even on an intellectual level, they're maybe like on the fence, but it's also like there's just something, each one's individual and unique, but some of them, there's just something about it that either like the cast or the series that it's continuing or something about it has piqued our interest enough that like for different like emotional or intellectual reasons, there's a lot of big deal films coming out and it's wild.
Oh yeah. Like it's just crazy. And the fact that like, aside from that, like not even included in that list because we're a couple of years out, but they're currently shooting Indiana Jones 5 with old man Harrison Ford, right? Like, so just, it's just a crazy, crazy, crazy time to be. It's just nuts, and I'm so happy.
It's just there's a side note of that, like one comment here. I think I read something, and I'm not sure if it was just internet banter that it was true or not, but something about like he minorly got injured on set. Whether that's true or not, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, what was
which
it?
I think was kind of it's and it's not funny, but it was kind of like, I think it's similarly to if tomorrow, and this is not me weighing in politically at all.
Sure.
This is just me reading the satire and meme scene.
Okay.
And acknowledging what the jokes are.
Sure.
It'd be like tomorrow. Can you imagine tomorrow if Joe Biden like broke a hip, right? Like something that is typically associated with being old as dirt. It would just be, the ribbing would just be
Right.
in nuts, right?
Sure.
And so I think I felt that a little bit because, so much of we're all excited for Harrison Ford to come back and play Indy again. Absolutely.
Of course.
But they've been talking about it for like 6 or 7 years now. Been trying to get this movie going, and it is going. It's tangible now. They are shooting it. But it's always been like, really? Like, he's in his late 70s. He's like 78, 79. The guy's pushing 80.
And so here's the thing, because this is that was my second point, and you've led right into it, so it's perfect. We have nothing against age. Like, age is literally just a number, so it's how someone lives their life, and it's just, you're young at heart, and that, like, I do not care about numbers on a page on your driver's license. I'm not here to age bash at all. But I will say that even in 2008, when I think was the year Crystal Skull came out, some people...
No. That you just dreamt that. That wasn't... It was a bad dream that you woke up from.
Someone...
I said... So I misspoke earlier when I said the 5th Indiana Jones movie. They're actually shooting the 4th.
Touche.
A follow-up to the Indiana Jones trilogy.
Touche. Well, even in 2008, when potentially they almost had a sequel released, I do remember at that time, both like actual pundits and then like also people who are just like sarcastic and rude were commenting about
he's old.
About Harrison Ford's age and like if he should have reprised the role at the time. And I won't get into that on this episode, but just if people were raking him over the coals a little bit at that time, this is alarming to say, but that was 13 years ago. I can't even believe that's 13 years ago, but that was 13 years ago. Right. So I don't even know what people will say now for better or for worse, but I will still buy a ticket.
Of course,
when it comes
obviously,
up.
It's just going to be worse now. But so I think it was funny because of that, and it was funny because like 2 weeks or 3 weeks into shooting The Force Awakens, they had to halt production because the door of the Millennium Falcon fell on him and broke his leg.
What?
So it's like, look it up. Oh yeah, it was this big thing. They halted production for like a month or something because the door of the Millennium Falcon came down on Harrison Ford's leg and broke it.
Is that why they killed him off? Like they had actually like him planned for the next 2 movies, but like he was injured.
I think that's the only way he would come back and do it because he wanted Han Solo to die in Return of the Jedi. Like he thought long ago the character should have been killed off. But anyways, that's not why we're here.
Anyway, sorry.
So Black Widow, if you haven't already figured it out by the image of this episode or the title, titles, that's a thing. We're here to review Black Widow. And this is not a spoiler-free discussion.
Absolutely not.
The assumption is that you either live in a part of the world that is fortunate enough to waltz into a movie theater and watch a movie, given the current climate, which, I don't know if you've heard, sir, but come Friday, that's us.
That's exciting.
Our movie theaters are opening.
That's exciting.
And I know there's going to be some anxiety about it, and there's like, I think there's a lot of question right now of like, what is that going to look like? What kind of precautions or capacity and all of this stuff. But the movie theaters are opening. The last movie I saw in the theater was The Rise of Skywalker, which was also 2 years ago now.
That's wild.
Was it 2 years? No, it was like a year and a half ago. It was like a year and a half ago.
Sure.
But still, that's it's crazy. That's the longest I've gone in my adult life. I think I've said this a couple of times. Is the longest time I've gone in my adult life or teenage life, whatever, in the last, in the last 15, 16 years is the longest I've gone without going to the movies. Or we're going to talk about this movie. So yeah, either like you've gone and see it in the theater, or you've dished out like 30 some odd dollars and invited all of your friends over, despite, recommendations, and you watched it, right? So spoilers ahead. Yeah, the assumption is you've seen it. If you don't care about spoilers and haven't seen it, then I don't know what's wrong with you, but you're welcome to keep listening, I guess. But if you don't want this to get spoiled, maybe hit pause and go watch Black Widow and then come right back. But yeah, don't spoil this. Don't spoil it for yourself.
Right.
So, right? Is that fair?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have anything to add, or is that fair?
Yeah. Nope, you've covered it.
Okay. Do you have trivia?
Not for a new release. Not for this new release, anyway.
Perfect. Yeah, okay, absolutely. So, we have not discussed this.
No.
We both watched it, I'm assuming, I watched it on Disney Plus because our theaters, as I just said, have not been open. I have to assume you did the same.
Yep.
You watched it at home in the comfort of your own living room. Which is the first MCU film that I've watched that way for the first time. And that's kind of a letdown. Like I don't think I've let it impact my review of the film. But it did. I think it hurt my experience, and it was really unfortunate because I could tell that these were. I mean, Black Widow's fighting, her fight choreography has always been very impressive, and so there are some wonderfully elaborate fight scenes, and there's some really great music. Like the soundtrack in this is really fun, and there's just some fun sound design that I feel like watching it on, not watching it in like a Dolby Atmos theater, just didn't do it justice. I feel like that was the medium that it was designed for. And you know what? Having said that our theaters are opening Friday, I may go watch it in a theater if I'm able to.
Wow.
I may go see it again in a theater.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'd completely agree with the loss of experience, or maybe dampened experience, just because I'm somewhere between, there's the whole Martin Scorsese where he ripped on MCU films saying they don't qualify as pieces of art or whatever he said, something along.
What the douche. He said it's not cinema.
Right. Something. So they're like on one end of the spectrum, there's Martin Scorsese. And then just for context, I'll just say on the other end, there's you who, I would consider you a well-versed MCU fan in both seeing all the films and knowing some comic book background. And, I fall somewhere in the middle, so I definitely partake in watching. I've seen 80 or 90% of them, and I'm definitely not Martin Scorsese. I don't hate on them, but I'm definitely not where you are, where I'm at that level of fandom. But one thing I will say about the MCU films is, to me, they're the very definition of a fun summer film that you either go see in theater, or if you're lucky enough, you have a drive-in and you see it in the drive-in. So regardless, it's some type of movie outing experience where, for the most part, you don't have to think too hard, or at least the most part, like, you can just have fun, and you don't have, if you have to go pee or get some popcorn, I personally am okay with that. I'm okay with not, having to watch something super serious, and it's just fun and it's light and it's outing. And anyway, my point of all that is MCU is the definition for me of kind of going to the movies and just having a fun outing and not thinking too much about it and having fun and walking away. And for all the reasons you said, like the atmosphere, the lighting, the sound, you do get a better experience by seeing it in person in a theater that, sitting in your living room, you obviously don't get. And, if you're not having the environment and not having the kind of fun things that a theater offers, then it puts the viewing experience at a bit of a disadvantage.
Can I say, so you said like an MCU film is a film that you could get up and go to the washroom and yada yada. No, and I mean this without exaggeration.
Have I offended some?
No.
Okay.
No, you haven't offended me at all.
Okay.
I mean this without exaggeration.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's a film that I hate.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, like a film that I hate, I'm thinking something like Cats or Cars or whatever.
Mm.
Even then, it's not that I disagree with that mentality.
Sure.
It's not that, like, disagree. I disagree is not what I would say. I wouldn't say, I disagree with people who are willing to do that. With not even an ounce of exaggeration, I don't understand. like I hear that.
Mm.
I hear, there's someone who I've been watching movies with, and they'll be like, I'll be like, oh, come on, I want to, we got to start this movie. And they'll say, it's okay, start it without me. I'm going to be like 5 minutes. What?
Right.
Not only are you going to miss the first 5 minutes,
yeah,
but 5 minutes in, my immersion is going to be completely just just completely destroyed, right? Assaulted by you entering the room and sitting down and walking in front of the screen. Like, what are you talking about? Right. I do find it really interesting because, I said, without an ounce of exaggeration, when you say an MCU film or any film in the theater, there's nothing I hate more. Like, I've had to do it. I've had to be like, I'm going to pee myself in this theater if I don't go.
For sure.
But I hate that. I hate it. And someone who doesn't hate it, it's not just like, oh, what is wrong with you? Like I hear that and I think to myself, I'm not getting the full picture here. Like you're screwing with me. That can't be real. And it's so weird. Like, honestly, I have waiting for the movie to start. In the 20 minutes that we've gotten into the theater and we're waiting for the movie to start, I've gotten up and peed, and then I've been like, I know I just peed, but it's a 2.5 hour movie, so I should really try once more because it's just not an option. Mm-hmm. Like, it's bizarre to me. That's all I'm saying.
There's two things I want to comment on because I think you've hit on a couple interesting things. The first is I agree with you because I've watched movies with people like that where they'll say, "Oh, get it started, and I'll join you in 5 or 10 minutes," and I sarcastically think, like, why bother? Let's just read a Wikipedia synopsis if we're not even going to take this wholeheartedly. Like, let's commit to this.
Oh yeah,
either we're in or we're out. We got to choose. The other thing,
which could just be like, it could just be we're movie men.
Sure,
we are the movie men.
There's a reason,
and so I get that there are people who don't take a cinematic thing. Like, I get that there's people out there who are going to check their phone during Lord of the Rings.
Right. They
but
exist.
something is wrong with you.
I agree.
Like I just can't. I'm like, this is the hours and the money and the blood, sweat, and tears that have gone into this, and the cinematic experience that this can be if you allow it to be. The journey that this can take you on.
The piece of art it is
Yes.
if you take it out or take it up as such.
Yeah, you don't go into the Louvre in Paris
Yeah.
and look at all the paintings with sunglasses on. Right? Like,
Yeah.
let this, or like glance up at your phone and go, oh yeah, the Mona Lisa. Like,
The last thing I'll say, and then we'll get into Black Widow, is I want to restate.
oh yeah, the movie we're here to talk about 20
The last
minutes
thing I want to
later.
restate about urinating in movies, I think there's a spectrum. So like when we're watching the Rise of Skywalker, I want to reiterate, come hell or high water, my bladder is just going to be keep filling until the end credits are completely done. So I want to say that if we're watching Cats, as soon as there's a drop or two of urine, I'm just finding an excuse to go. MCU would fall somewhere in the middle. You know, I'm not going to like jump ship just to pretend to pee, but like, you know, I'm not, it's not in the realm of like Rise of Skywalker. So I just want to say that I hear what you're saying.
Sure. Cool. All right. So Black Widow, like I said, we have not discussed this at all.
Right.
I don't know if you loved it. I don't know if you hated it. You have no idea. Not that, again, so based on what you just said, because it's an MCU film, I've also not told you what I think. And that's maybe a bigger, like, you know, maybe the bigger question is, what do I think of this film?
Yeah.
Because I care more about this film.
Yep.
But yeah, hit me with initial impressions.
Sure. Well, I mean, straight up, and I'll just get straight into it because it's about time. I straight up found the first 45 minutes difficult to watch. I'm going to be quite honest. I tried to discern what it was. Like, I don't think it was the pace per se. I just really wasn't invested. The film didn't give me enough reason to care or commit. Now, the more we're talking about missing out on the environment of what I deem a perfect movie going experience in a theater, that we've kind of broken that down, maybe that has something to do with it. You know, it's not like we're watching Titanic where you can watch it for the 17th time and still get an emotional response from the movie. Like, it's just at a different level than an MCU film. So maybe it's not seeing in theater. I don't know. But, you know, there's in a good MCU film, there's a usual blend of action and characters and comedy. And for me, that first 45 minutes, that was not working for me in Black Widow. It did change directions a bit after that first 45 minutes, and it did pick it up. And I think I got out of it from there forward what I was expecting. I got some action. I got some emotional depth from characters. It did kind of fall into a bit of a dip. The last 20 minutes or so, I did start doing, check out my watch. I was a little not on board anymore. But ultimately, for the majority of the film, the film did deliver what I expected. The nuts and bolts of it, I won't say this film didn't need to... I'm not going to say this film doesn't need to exist, but I will say I don't think it needed to be 2 hours and 14 minutes. So essentially, I didn't really enjoy it.
Well, I mean, that runtime is pretty consistent with your one-off, so typically your one-off MCU films or character-based MCU films.
Sure.
Character-centric are either just shy of 2 hours or somewhere between there and the 2:15 mark. Your standard Avengers films are about 2.5 hours, 2:20, 2:30.
Sure.
And then obviously Endgame was pushing 3.
Right.
But okay, yeah. So I mean, yeah, that's interesting. I'm almost the total opposite.
Really?
Here. Yeah, like right off the bat, I was hooked. I was like, oh yeah, like I think the strongest stuff that this movie does is all of the family stuff.
Okay.
So any of the time that they're like dealing with emotions and family and past trauma and all of this stuff, that's when I think it's the strongest. And so, yeah, like I was hooked because I was like, we have this character who we have always known has a dark past. Right, we've always we know. She talks about in Age of Ultron. She talks about how she was sterilized as a teen. It's like their final rite of passage that they sterilize them so that they can't have babies because you're a more effective killing machine that way.
Yikes.
So we know that. We know that she was. We've known that she was KGB before. You know, switching over to the good side. She has a lot of red in her ledger, all of this stuff. And yeah, that there's just this dark past. And within a couple of minutes, I was, you know, when they get back to Russia and at the time we think that Red Guardian, David Harbour's character, is we at that point we have no reason not to think that they're not all biologically related,
right?
But you know, and he just kind of this like the girls are going back into, you know, they're gonna take the girls and put them in. Take the small one. What was her name? Elena.
It sounds familiar. I think so.
I think it's Elena, and they're gonna put her into, you know, start her into training. And Natasha says, no, she's only 6. And David Harbour says, you know, you were even younger. And so I was like, there's this character who we know has a dark past, but it's never been this tangible. And like my heart just started breaking for her. So that I really loved the first 45 minutes. Then I thought maybe it lulled a little bit.
Okay.
And then right at the end, I assumed you liked sort of the climax third act of this film, because the climax third act of this film was basically a bad Bond movie. Like, we're at this base, there's these spies, there's this guy who's got this mind control thing, you know, take over the world. And it was like, it felt like a Bond film. But so that was fun, and also we finally, not like a full detailed response, but we get a lot of information about what the hell happened in Budapest, because we end up back in Budapest, and we do get sort of some, you know, some inklings of information on what happened with Clint and Natasha in Budapest. They were there. They spent 2 days in the train station ceiling, and so just like all of that stuff was a lot of fun. I think David Harbour steals every scene he's in. You know, he's so funny in this. Especially the moment, there's a moment I watched it alone, and I audibly laughed out loud. That's the true test. Everyone knows the true test is you're more likely to laugh at things when you're with people.
Oh yeah.
And so when you laugh and you're alone, it's like, oh, that was actually genuinely funny. But when they get back to the mother's house, and they're sitting around the table, and everyone, it's just like jumped right back into this like dysfunctional family format. And Natasha's like, wait, no, stop. Like, what? No, we're not a family. We're not doing this. And he's like, listen to your mother, and like all of this stuff, right? And but there's this great moment when he leans into the mother and he's like, I just got out of prison. I have a lot of energy. Like, looks at her in this like trying to seduce her way. And it was so funny to me. I don't know why. That was the moment I burst out laughing too. But yeah, you know what? I think on the whole, it's a damn good film.
Sure.
I do. I think it's. I mean, it's the MCU, and it's not Thor: The Dark World. So
Thank heavens.
so I think it's good.
Yeah.
I do question the timing in which we've received this film.
Oh, interesting.
Because with the exception of the post-credit scene, this movie takes place immediately following Civil War.
Right.
It's between Civil War and Infinity War.
Right.
And that's just really where it belongs. I mean, spoiler alert, Natasha's dead. The character is gone. And so it just felt like, maybe if I'd had all this, like I felt like having this movie now retroactively makes her sacrifice in Endgame more impactful.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And I just feel like we should have had this movie before we had, we should have gotten this movie chronologically where it belongs. For that reason, and for the reason that it's a weird first movie in whatever this new post-Infinity Saga thing is going to be.
Sure. Yeah.
Because whatever they're going to kick off with, like the multiverse and the sorcery stuff from WandaVision, right? We've got Wanda now, and it turns out Wanda is, again, spoiler alerts for WandaVision. The assumption is if you're watching this, you're caught up with the MCU.
Oh, for sure.
With Wanda is the Scarlet Witch now. She's not just this girl that was tested on with the Mind Stone. The Mind Stone only enhanced what was already there. And so, like, all of this stuff, this movie just feels like it doesn't fit. As like the kicking that off. Like it feels it's got so much connective tissue to the Infinity Saga. That it's just weird. It's just weird where it is. And obviously the post-credit scene is the exception to that.
Yep.
As they set up the Hawkeye series with that Natasha's sister is now believes that Clint was responsible for Natasha's death.
Right.
And so that sets up the upcoming Hawkeye series for us. But so I have a question for you, because I made you a promise, and I'm going to follow through with it here. So, in the post-credit scene, she is approached by. That's a question. Do you know the actress, obviously. If you've seen Seinfeld, you know the actress that approaches her.
Oh, is that I didn't, but it did look familiar. Is that let me look up what her name is.
It's her name's Julia Dreyfus. I think that's the pronunciation, but she plays Elaine in Seinfeld. And her showing up here is a very, very interesting thing that you can't appreciate because you haven't watched Falcon and Winter Soldier. So you don't know who her character is. You don't know the significance of her showing up. You don't know what she's up to. You gotta just do it, man. You gotta.
I did have a note in my list here of who was the woman in the post-credit scene and what is the context. So,
do you actually?
Yeah.
My answer is sit your ass down and go watch Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I feel like I've just been like, I feel like I'm guilty. Like I am convicted of doing a wrong, and this has just shown and reinforced what you've said.
I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more.
But
so you've told me some of the things you don't like. Talk to me about some of the things in this movie that worked for you.
Well, and so I think the timing is an interesting thing, and I'm not even going to classify that into worked or didn't work, but I was wondering throughout this film, just also like from trying to follow the film, where did it fit between, and I'm remembering what we knew or like what had occurred and hadn't occurred, and from a logistics point of view I was wondering from a timing, but I think you really raise an interesting point about just what would have felt more natural or what would have amplified the series more as far as the timing of release, and I think that's a really interesting point, one that I hadn't thought of. You know what? I don't have too much to elaborate on what worked for me here, and I'm not saying that as a slight. I think what worked for me was when it got into the flow of the film for me. So when we got some action sequences that kind of just were entertaining. I found a lot of the comedy in this that I enjoyed was kind of funny and a play on certain things. So it did rely a lot on the family-based jokes, like when they're sitting down for dinner, and the traditional joke in film, TV, books, artists, parents saying, I just did the best and I did the best that I thought I could. And David Harbour would say the same thing. And he was saying, you can't blame me for being a bad fake parent. I was being the best fake parent I could possibly be. And I just did the best I knew I could. And there was just some leaning into like because it wasn't a traditional family, and obviously they were a fake family, and they were just leaning into some of their dynamics and circumstances of their relationships with each other, with traditional jokes and parenting flaws and things like that. So there were just some things like that where I did find it kind of witty and funny playing into that circumstance, and I think that's a unique circumstance in the as far as a storyline, and they leaned into it pretty well. So yeah, right. I think the action was fun. I can't blame the film for the timeline of me not being familiar with it, so that I can't blame that as a flaw. But I do wonder if it would have been more interesting being released during the previous phase. Yeah, I think that the comedic ability was there for this for me.
Cool.
Can I ask?
No, I agree totally, and I think one of those great moments was Natasha's sister making like what is your pose? Your pose is not even
right. Yep.
How is that practical? It's not what are you doing with this pose? Why was this? You do this like flippy hair thing when you land it's so good. Because it's something you never thought about. You're just like, right. I don't know. She lands. She's a hero. She lands like a hero.
Right.
But Elena sees right through that, and she's like, "No, this is really weird. Why do you do this?"
Exactly. That was good. Yeah, stuff like that. Just an awareness. I think that's how I describe it. A comedic awareness to what they were kind of trying to accomplish. It didn't go. I appreciated it.
Yeah.
Did you notice, and this is, I had to look this up, so it could be wrong, but if it's correct, I think it's kind of neat, and some neat foreshadowing. So when Black Widow was in her trailer early in the movie, and you alluded to this, she was watching an old James Bond film. Mm-hmm. And it was with your favorite James Bond actor, Roger Moore. And
I almost began crying. I was like, I didn't think I would ever see him as Bond again by choice.
You know what's weird?
What?
I sometimes just get like, I'm not talking like actually emotional. I just get like sometimes like reminiscent. I'm like, oh, remember when we, and I in this context you mean, but like, oh, remember when we did this or when we did that? And I was remembering like when we were blitzing through all 27 of the James Bond films, and it was only a year ago,
whatever the hell it was. Yeah.
And just like at the top, and we're far enough away from it now that I can look back at it with a bit of a grin and a smile. And like we were in the trenches. Like it was pretty brutal sometimes. Some weeks, this was before the new film was postponed, so we were trying to meet a deadline here, but we were doubling up some weeks and not only watching two bad James Bond films, but talking about two bad James Bond films. And regardless, we're far enough away from it where I was looking back on it being like, yeah, like it wasn't great film watching by any means, but it was kind of fun to rip on films, or at least go through a period of history and kind of just like go through this experience. So we're far enough removed from it, and we don't have to do it again, that I was comfortable enough to laugh and chuckle and go, oh yeah, that was funny. But
Yeah, just wait for the Mission Impossible movies. Good.
oh,
golly.
I'm actually excited. I am excited. I've got some hope and optimism for those.
I've seen the first one,
Sure.
and I thought, oh, you know what? This is actually a lot better than I thought.
Sure.
And then I saw the first half hour of the second one before I was like, screw this, I'm going to fall asleep now. And I just slept through the rest.
But regardless, we'll see what happens. I'm pumped. But winding it back to James Bond. So of note, it was Moonraker that he was watching, and for the love of me, like the Roger Moore ones all blend together. So aside from bad toupees, I don't know what the plot was in each film. But
I mean, for me, it kind of all, like, I don't, with the exception of, like, a few specific ones.
Sure.
I don't know that I remember any.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
There was just so many of them and so much. And often so much of it was so similar.
Oh, for sure. But of note, and I think this is some interesting foreshadowing that they did. Moonraker was the one she was watching, and in the synopsis of Moonraker, Roger Moore battles the henchman Jaws in space. So there's some similarities with Black Widow. She wasn't in space, but she was in a sky levitating station. So I thought there was some similarity and foreshadow there that was, I didn't notice it on the surface. I had to look up a couple things, but I thought that was neat.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That didn't strike me, but you're totally right.
And when you mentioned it, and I don't know if I'd agree with you when you said this, but that I would like it because it was like a Bond film action at the end. I agree. Like it really, now that you've labeled it as that, I'm like, ooh, that totally was quite similar to a Bond-esque film. And I'm not sure if I'm not sure I actually enjoy that now, but it was an interesting comment.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you've hit on most of the things that I wanted to hit on. The one thing, it's just a total observation. I felt bad for the family that they stole the BMW from. Like, my goodness, I know it was a baller of a car, and the dad was kind of dumb for leaving the keys in a completely accessible spot. Like, didn't understand it, but I mean, come on,
But again,
Black
what
Widow.
a hilarious moment.
I
'Cause
know
she's
it
like,
was
you can't just
hilarious.
steal a car. And she's like, would you like me to track them back down and unsteal it? Like,
Right.
like there's just so much sass there. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, keep going.
Yeah. But cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Are you ready to rank it then?
Are you ready to hear me rank it?
I was born ready.
I don't know if you're going to like it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you're going to like it. I was a little harsh.
Oh, geez. Okay.
I think if we add our scores together and average it out, you still might be disappointed.
Oh no.
I don't know. I feel bad giving it this harsh of a score, but I'll just get into it. On my scale, I gave it a 2.7 out of 10.
Holy crap.
So that means that
Okay.
for effort level, to watch it again, I would probably only watch it if I was at the cottage and there was no Wi-Fi,
Wow.
and it was pouring rain, and there was a VHS of it sitting on the coffee table, and at that point I might go, yeah, sure, pop it in.
Wow.
On Marshall's scale, which is a more objective way to just rank a movie on a scale from 0 to 10, I'm pretty sure I gave it a 3, maybe could be convinced to a 4, but more likely in line with the 3.
Holy friggin' Toledo, man.
I left no prisoners alive on this ranking.
Golly. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
And again, I think you've hit it. Like, there were definitely some discernible things that I just wasn't there for, or at least just I didn't enjoy. But I think what it comes down to most is just the experience. And I think if we had just gone and seen this together and come home and reviewed it, I maybe would have been a bit more lenient, but it is what it is.
Okay. All right.
What did you give it out of 10? I'm curious.
I gave it an 8 out of 10. I gave it a
wow.
normal human being, reasonable first MCU film in 2 years. Holy hand grenade, man. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I thought, is it Endgame? No. Is it Thor Ragnarok? Well, no. But it's just good. It's Natasha Romanoff who has never been a disappointment. David Harbour is dynamite in this film. The actress that plays Natasha's sister is also incredible. A little bit of a weak villain,
Sure.
and I think it gets some demerits for that.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen a better villain, rather than some guy who is just all of a sudden miraculously on the brink of world domination again.
Right.
It's just like like these people just pop up and they're like undetected right until the last moment.
Yeah.
But it did so much to. It works as such a great tribute and like memoriam to the character, and I think the placement of it in the MCU is a little strange, but I like it. It's captivating. It's heartwarming when it needs to be heartwarming, and it's got a baller post-credit scene, and I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Who knows? Maybe once I watch that Disney Plus series and I go back and rewatch the post-credit scene, I'll maybe jump it up to like a 6 out of 10. Who knows?
Sure. All right. What'd you watch this week, man?
I think it was mainly just Black Widow, and then I finished, my wife and I, like I've been saying, we've been rewatching Lost. We finished the first season and we dived into the second season, and it's just continuing that journey through.
Yes. So you've reached the point where the show starts to not be very good. Congratulations. The first season's excellent. And you know what? And the second season, like the first half of the second season, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm still here for this. Mm-hmm. And then I think it's right around the like middle of the second season, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like really. I just devoted I did it again. I spent 45 minutes, and okay, this will be the last time. I swear. I know I said the last time was going to be the last time, but this is the last time. And then you reach like the third season, and you're like, well, this show is aptly named because I'm so freaking lost. I don't know what's happening. I don't care what's happening, but I still wish I knew. And yeah, this is garbage. It's like a soap opera in the sense that like everyone dies at least twice and then comes back somehow. And then people are like sleeping together. You don't know who's, and then now all of a sudden this person doesn't have any memory. And the whole time, Mary Brandybuck is just there like, I just like drugs. I don't know why I'm here on this island. I just like drugs. And Evangeline Lilly is there.
She is not.
As
Sorry. I thought sorry. My brain.
What?
My brain, you're correct in saying who you said. For some reason, my brain thought you meant Angelina Jolie, and I was like, wait a minute.
Oh, gosh, no.
She is not there.
No, she's, no. She's actually, she's possessing Linus. Well, anyways, it doesn't matter.
What I will say is, we'll talk about this more in a future episode, I'm sure. And the other thing I will say is I haven't actually watched all the show completely over again, so who knows, maybe by the end I will agree with you and say preach brother preach, but for the time being I will say I disagree. I will say there are things the show does, they use clever ways to bring characters back, like bringing dead characters in flashbacks, which I think is intellectually the high ground. It's not the soap opera where the character wasn't dead or it was his twin brother, but that is a discussion for another day. That is what I watched.
All right.
What did you watch?
All right. Continuing on in the MCU,
My gosh.
I watched WandaVision.
Again.
Yeah, well, I mean
Oh,
that's
wow.
the part I watched Endgame, and then I watched Far From Home, and so
Right.
on to WandaVision.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
So
Fair
I
enough.
watched WandaVision, and then I got as far as the first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier. So, yeah.
Cool.
So I'll finish that, and then I'll watch Loki, and then I'll watch Black Widow. Then I'll be back at Black Widow, and then ready for the Eternals, which comes out in like just over a month, man. Just over a month, we get another one. Crazy.
At this point, I'm going to be as blind as a bat going into that one. Just, I have no, other than the brief little bit of information that was given, like, oh gosh, was it a year ago when there was the announcement of this next phase? I know blessed little about it.
It was not even, man. It was back at Christmas. It was in December.
Was that? For some reason, I totally thought it was pre-COVID. But
The shareholders meeting where they like announced all of the MCU shows and stuff.
Was that
and then they
only
announced,
Christmas?
And they announced like Lightyear, the Pixar Lightyear movie, and all that stuff. Yeah, it was just back. It was December.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, well, never mind.
Yeah. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. I will tell you, because you haven't seen the trailer. I will. I mean, this is just common knowledge.
Sure.
This movie does have Angelina Jolie in it.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so she's entering the MCU.
Interesting. Interesting.
Wrap it up.
Thank you so much for listening. Please, if you haven't done so already, like, follow, subscribe on all our social media pages. Links are below. And if you feel so inclined to check out our Patreon page, check out our merchandise page. We really appreciate when people try and help support the show, cover costs, and keep us growing. Thank you for all our Patreon supporters. We really appreciate it. If it weren't for you, the lights would not be on. And because of you, we get to put the lights on for 1 hour a week when we record, and then we only are in the dark the rest of the time. So it's great. And
But at least we have our priorities sorted.
Absolutely.
Like
absolutely. So, check us out on whatever platform you're listening to us on, and give us a good rate and review. Help the machine kind of help others find the show. Help the ball keep rolling. And until next time, when we...
well, I just want to say something.
Well, I guess you can.
Thanks, man. I'm going to say something else, too.
Sure.
So, with magic, the magic of pre-recording things and then releasing them on the internet at later dates, so this is episode 140, what? 148?
I think 148.
148. Which is crazy. And so there is only... So our next episode, I'll just let the cat out of the bag. The next episode we're doing is Castaway.
Yep.
And then we're at 150, which is a very big ordeal.
Oh, yeah.
Something, honestly, I didn't think we were ever going to hit. Like when we started the podcast, I was like, there's no way.
Right.
That's stupid. He's not going to do that many with me.
Which we have to give credit where credit's due in order of importance. So we got to give credit to the listener is number one for getting us this far. Listener, credit number one. Credit number two, I would say to you, because you do so much background work of like editing and so on. And number three on this list of who got us to where we needed to be is Roger Moore and crew, because all those 27 James Bonds really pumped our episode numbers and springed us to 150.
He's such a scumbag, isn't he? Like now, I hadn't thought of him in a long time.
Right.
And now you've got me thinking about him, and I can feel my skin crawling. Like he's just scum.
Listen.
But so, anyways,
Yeah.
we are just because of life circumstances, we are recording our 150 an episode early. We're doing one out of order.
Yep.
We're recording it tomorrow night.
That is a fact.
Emily Mader is going to join us in that episode. She's joined us in several in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first time in over a year, 100 episodes with regulations, distance, and
yes.
stuff.
Yep.
But we're going to record in person,
Yes.
looking across a table into each other's face areas,
Yeah.
which is not something that we've done really for the whole second 2/3 of this podcast's existence. Man,
And you know how I am.
I'm giddy.
You know how anal I am. I'm just going to clarify again for the listener. We are following public health guidelines. We're in a well-ventilated
yeah.
area, window open. And when he says we're looking at each other's face, like we're so distanced in the room that I'm actually renting a telescope to see each other in the face. But we'll still be in the same room. So it's still going
I've
to be...
got one of those. I'm getting one of those big, like 24-inch by 24-inch medical examination lenses.
Right,
that
yes.
is on and I'm going to put that on. It's going to obscure my vision, something horrible.
Right.
But everyone else in the room will see every pore, every follicle. It'll be sweet.
But that, you know me, I have to do my PSA to clarify to the audience what we're doing. But aside from following guidelines, I too am looking forward to some normalcy. And
It's gonna be so good,
Yeah,
man. And it's
absolutely.
gonna be like, heads up. It's gonna be like a 2 hour plus. It's gonna be one of those like longer. I'm not gonna tell you what we're doing, but it's gonna be a longer episode, a discussion. We're not doing a movie.
we're
gonna be like a
ranking our
discussion-based
favorite
episode.
salad dressings.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And all I can say,
the mandarin orange one. That's the
all I
one I
can
really
say,
like.
it's about time we cracked that egg open.
Yeah. Wait, egg? I thought you said salad.
Well, like the salad dressing is what we're discussing. Cracked the egg open was the metaphor for like getting into the subject.
I'm so confused. Anyways, goodbye.